Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're here to talk about Old World again. Yeah, some news dropped 2 days ago to be in fact, but unfortunately due to skulls I've not been able to keep up. And yeah, it wasn't a usual Old World article, but instead replies from Games Workshop. Funny enough, this is something that I mentioned in a video recently, that Games Workshop need to be a bit better with communication, as there's a lot of misinformation popping around. This is, again, me saying there's a lot of doomsayers all over the place who misinterpret articles, and yeah. But let's talk about these, because these are actually fairly important for two specific reasons. Alright, so the first response that we have here is regarding a starter kit. So there will be a starter set for Warhammer the Old World, more news on that nearer the time, and there will be models returning, as well as some new ones for all the core factions. Don't worry about the core factions thing, we've actually got something else to talk about, but yeah. I told you guys, I've been telling you guys for ages, yet some guy misinterpreted the Q&A in Warhammer Fest, posted something, and yeah, posted the wrong information, then asked everyone to buy them a coffee, funny enough, and then every other clickbait YouTuber was going, "No starter kit, Old World is doomed." So yeah, now you have it from the horse's mouth itself. We are getting a starter kit, like I said, very likely to be Tomb Kings and Bretonnia. I've been saying this for a while, kind of cemented it a little bit more recently, because obviously in the Old World announcement for Warhammer Fest, they had shown off a trailer for the Tomb Kings and Bretonnians. Obviously the first new models shown off were Tomb Kings and Bretonnians. I'll be very honest with you, I don't know why people seem to think that there wasn't going to be, even with the misinformation, because it's a new edition. A new edition always launches with a big box. We had that with 30k, obviously, with the Marines versus Marines. Now we got that with 10th edition again, with the Marines versus Tyranids. Yeah, guys, like, I don't know the Doom posting. Like, chill. Seriously. We're getting closer and closer to release. It's likely going to be this year. And it's very important to just, like, relax. Enjoy the fact that we're getting news on a monthly basis now. I imagine that's also going to start speeding up relatively soon. The next answers two questions, actually. One thing which we already knew, which is in regards to the models being metal, plastic, or Forge World resin, no fine cast, which is very, very important for those who aren't really tabletop players, considering that Finecast is one of the worst things that Games Workshop have released in years. But there's also another thing, right? The person asking the question is like, oh wait, no Dark Elves, this is because of the core factions. And we've got there at the bottom, the response is, it's certainly possible that we could see more factions return to the narrative in the future. This is something very, very important, because the moment everyone saw the core factions, people got worried, thinking that the Skaven, the Dark Elves, the Lizardmen, all that type of stuff is going to get the axe. They're not getting the axe. It's just, we're in wave 1. When we get to wave 2, they'll expand upon this. This was kind of like back in the day with the Ravening Hordes in 6th edition. So I think we're good. I honestly think we're good. I've also been hearing that, yes, there are plans for multiple waves if things go well, but the idea is Games Workshop likely wanted to take it slow, work on a small amount of races, even though it's more than the Ravening Hordes book anyway, just to be able to see if it's going to sell. Obviously, Games Workshop need to be able to see if this is going to be profitable for them, to be able to actually then spend more dev time on other projects. And before anyone says, oh yeah, but it's mostly old models returning, first up we've got new models, and if you think, because I've seen this a lot, I've seen a lot of people crying on Twitter going, a new system with old miniatures, that's not going to work, people aren't going to buy this, people aren't going to support this, Games Workshop are just looking to abandon it instantly. And to that I say, do you know that Middle-earth strategy battle is pretty much like Old World, right? They redid the system. It's looking like it's got loads of old miniatures. There's a lot of new stuff. It comes with time. But if MESB is fine, then Old World is perfectly fine. This is why I'm saying have a little bit of faith. I've honestly got a lot of faith, because this isn't the same Games Workshop that we had when it was like the whole end time situation, or even prior to that. This one's doing a lot better with terms of updates, and obviously we've seen like roadmaps for Age of Sigmar, 40k, even 30k. So I could imagine that we'll get a roadmap for Warhammer the Old World when eventually we get the release. So overall, I'm quite happy that some confirmation has come to light. Yeah, Games Workshop should really do this in like a article form, like a frequently asked questions article, because it would really help to make sure that no misinformation is spread, because when misinformation is spread, it does actually damage the community. I've seen a lot of people getting very negative about stuff that simply isn't true. But yeah, start kit, likely going to be Bretonnia and Tomb Kings. I can't wait for that, especially after we've seen the new Tomb King and the Bretonnian Paladin, which I'm assuming is a hero. I do hope there's some other options to have different weapon types, because a great weapon is cool, but I'd love to have sword and board. You know, that way you could get a little bit extra armor save. Shield save would also be very useful. It depends, really, if you decide to make them dueling lords, because you could do that in all the fantasy stuff, and I'm imagining it's going to stay the same. One thing I do imagine regarding Wave 2 is it's not going to be a big book with everyone's rules as we're imagining for the first wave, because if memory serves, for Wave 2 in 6th edition, it was just literally start releasing army books, and we know army books are a thing. That was confirmed a while back. Mind you, you never know if things do change in terms of plans, considering that we do know that story supplements are coming, which I'm really excited about, in all honesty. This is a setting that I'm really, really happy that we're going to be visiting in the tabletop, hopefully in video games too. We already have a few video games around this, obviously Chaos Bane and Mark of Chaos, but I'd love to see something more modern. Also, it's very important to note that the fact that they're already starting to confirm this means that things are moving on. Again, I'm very much thinking that it's going to be released this year. I know a lot of people don't think that, but it would make a lot of sense to do so, considering that they are ramping up the news cycles. This isn't map updates anymore. This is concrete information. You know, confirming all the core factions, confirming that we are getting a starter kit. We know, for example, that news is dropping in June, which before they wouldn't even state, yeah, more news is coming next month, because I think everything was up in the air, but now they're getting to the point of thinking, okay, 10th edition's almost out. We know more or less that 10th edition is going to be released around mid-June, because there was a leak of a date. So I really think that when 10th edition releases, a little bit after, we're going to start getting news a lot more frequently, and it's going to be a lot more substantial stuff, not just, you know, here's a new model. This time they're going to start having to show any rule changes, anything that might be a bit different. They might even start doing articles going how to move your troops and so on, you know, how to perform a charge, all the basic stuff to get the new blood into the game. Obviously, these two replies don't answer every question that we have, but we do have a lot more than we did yesterday, for example. Well, 2 days ago, considering that obviously this was a response from like 2 days ago. But yeah, I'm feeling fairly optimistic. I can't wait to see what starter box this is. I'm hoping it's a big one. I really hope it's got a little bit of everything for people to use for the Tomb Kings and the Bretonnians. If it's that, it could literally be anything else, but I really think it's Tomb Kings and Bretonnians. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let's start a bit of a discussion. Let's hope that this game does get successful enough to warrant a Wave 2. That's my main concern. I want to see Cafe, I want to see Kislev, and I want to see all the old factions brought back fully.